Hey everybody, Arnaldo here. If you've seen my videos, then you know that I love fish. 15 different tanks or environments, between the freshwater, the saltwater, the brackish, the pond. We just like animals. That's why we've got dog and a whole bunch of chickens and 9 cats. And I'm pretty sure that's all the animals we have here. I keep telling my wife I want to get snakes again, but that's where she's putting the limit because we're out of room, I think. However, I got to tell you that out of all the aquariums that we have, and they all get attention in some way, shape, or form, right? Some people love to see the coral, something that the clownfish and their little anemones is the coolest thing ever. And then we get someone's like, oh, you've got pufferfish. Does it puff up? Don't you dare touch that tank. But the one that gets the biggest reaction every single time, hands down, is the jellyfish tank. Jellyfishes is something that most people don't seem to have in their house. And it's weird. I think maybe some people are scared that it's a little complex. Like, I'll be honest with you. To me, this is easier than keeping seahorses. There's a reason I have seahorses in my aquarium. But jellyfish is a lot easier. And maybe it's because I didn't do the do-it-yourself route. I went to a company called Jelly Art. So let's talk about what came in the aquarium, and it's been, 5 months since this has been set up. So unfortunately, I don't have any B-roll to show you the setup and all that, but I want to talk to you about what's in it, give you kind of a little bit of different shots from different angles, and hopefully answer your questions in case you've always wanted to have a jellyfish tank of your own. Let's go. First, I want to talk to you about the company. Jelly Art makes everything ready to go, where even if you've never done jellyfish before, they do it all for you. That comes at an expense, which I'll talk about in a bit. But in reality, it's not terribly expensive. Now, when you look at the actual design of the tank, you have a round cylinder because jellyfish can't really touch any sharper, jagged surfaces. You've got a built-in sump in the back that has your filter. And then when you lift up the whole tank, you've got a remote-controlled LED plus an air pump with a regulator in it. The whole sump design or filter design is basically a big, giant sponge filter. You want to have the flow enough that everything moves in there so nothing gets stagnant and gets dirty in there, but you don't want to have it too much where your jellyfish wind up getting stuck in between. So they kind of walk you through all that. The top is really nice. You've got a little easy lid that comes off. You have the second portion here, and you'll see that I actually added a sponge. That was a sponge for my saltwater tank. I wanted the cycle to be a little faster than normal. And then you also have some ChemiPure in there. And you have additional sponges and everything all down in the bottom. Now, as I mentioned, I think this was really easy for me because I did not go DIY. And some people's like, I could do this with a cylinder tank and a filter. And you could. But why? I mean, they've already got this all figured out. And again, I've got experience doing this, and I thought I could do this myself. But when I saw really the value of everything they have to offer and how easy it is to put together, I'm like, I'm going to go with it. The big value is that when you buy the entire kit, which has everything you need, and we'll go over that in a minute, you get the jellyfish already included. So it came with the 3 jellyfish, very carefully packed. As a matter of fact, let me rephrase that. Meticulously packed. This is the best packing job I've ever seen on live aquaria that I've ever seen before. So they did a really good job with that. But overall, it's super easy to use. So let's talk about what comes in the overall design or the overall kit. They have multiple kits. This is the 2-gallon one. And let's kind of go from there. Before I cover what's in the kit, some of you are like, hold up, 2 gallons? That's not a lot. Fish need more than 2 gallons to swim. Yes, but these are not fish. These are jellyfish. Like most commenters on YouTube, these have no brains. They don't have a central nervous system. Can they eat? Yes. Do they have stomachs? Yes. Do they swim around with a central purpose of just eating and breeding? Yes, but they're not. I don't think they're sentient beings, meaning I don't think they're self-aware, they're like, hey man, what's going on? Oh, just jellyfishing around. No, they don't see that. They do apparently, from what I understand, they have sensors that can tell night and day, so I don't keep this on solid all the time. But it's not like they know that they are in a jar. They just move around, and for them, they feel like they are free. So Now let's go over what comes in the kit. Now, I don't quite have everything with me that they give you. My wife went ahead, it was my birthday gift. It was the coolest birthday gift ever. I don't have everything on here, but I'll kind of give you an example. They do give you, it's not this one, it's a smaller one, but they do give you one of the hydrometers. I personally am not a fan of the plastic ones. I use this kind here, but the one that they came with is a lot more accurate than some of the ones out there, so it is a pretty decent one. Let's see what else it came with. Again, you have your remote for the LED light. You have your Jelly Bio, this is the maintain. And you also have your starter culture. They give you that. You have your jellyfish food. You have your brine shrimp eggs. You've got the feeder. You have an API test kit. I am not necessarily a fan of the API test kits for reefs or anything like that, but for a simple tank, this one's accurate enough. And this is actually really interesting. So after your food and everything else, they give you the stuff to clean it. You've got the extended sponge here. They give you a turkey baster type so you can clean the tank. And this is a little siphon with a rigid hose so you can clean everything out. And a lot of times you may be thinking, okay, well, I already have all this. Yeah, and so did I, but honestly, it was kind of nice to just have a dedicated kit just for the jellyfish. But if you've never done this before, they make this super easy. Now, if you've never kept jellyfish before, if you've never even dealt with saltwater before, you're thinking, okay, this is really confusing, what do I do? Look, it's very simple. So what you're gonna do is, you are going to fill this up with distilled water. Or better yet, go to any saltwater store and ask for Rhody water, reverse osmosis DI water. Basically, it's the purest form of water with no particles dissolved in it. And you get, just get 2-gallon containers. They give you the salt all ready to go, perfectly proportioned into 2 gallons. For those of you in the saltwater game, this is weighted at 23, excuse me. My tank is at 25, and jellyfish will work at 25. But if you've never done saltwater before, basically salt and water mixed together, and they have to create a specific gravity. There's a couple different ways to grade that weight. For the most part, this is perfect the way they do it. You buy these already pre-measured, you put them in a container, you shake it, or you just get a little bubbler, and you're good. That's it. That's all you got to do. They make that super easy. For me, I don't need this because I've got a very large saltwater station for my other fish, so we're good. But it's nice to know that this is already evenly proportioned in case, emergency happens. So you mix it in there, you let it cycle. For those of you not in a saltwater game or a fish game period, that means the bacteria has to grow. That's what that starter culture is. So you pour the little starter culture in there and bacteria grows. Now what happens is the jellyfish eat the food, the jellyfish poop, the food decomposes, bacteria takes that ammonia that will build up from that waste product and convert into nitrites. Still bad for jellyfish. Then other bacteria come in and convert those nitrites into nitrates. Water changes get rid of those nitrates. The bacteria grow on that sponge they have in there. So how does the water stay clean? I mean, you change the water once a week. You can do half a gallon every week. I personally do a gallon. But if you only do this once a week still, which is recommended, what happens to the nitrates? How does it not hurting the jellyfish? They have these little bags ready to go. Put a bag in there once a month. At the beginning of each month, you put it in and you're good to go. Also, with each water change, you're going to put some of that Jelly Bio maintain, half a capful, and that way the bacteria keeps growing. Those of you that already have fish, you can use Stability. You can use Fritz's. Now, Jelly Art claims that their stuff is specifically made for jellyfish and all that. Whether you believe that or not, it's a different story. I can tell you that Jelly Art so far have been very honest and good people. I don't see why they would be lying. But I'm personally going to use Stability because I've got tons of those bottles in there. Now, this is where it can get costly, is that after a bit, you have to add, you have to buy more of these packs. You got to buy ChemiPure. ChemiPure in general is pretty cheap, especially since you only have to change it once a month. Salt can get pretty expensive pretty fast. If you are not keeping salt water, this is still cheaper than having to get a saltwater mixing station and all that, or even going to a pet store to get salinity, or the proper salt water, excuse me. If you are in the saltwater game, slowly acclimate them. They're acclimated for 23, so acclimate them very slowly for 25. I did like a couple of days where I added more and more. As evaporated, I added more, and you're good. Those of you not in the saltwater game, there is a little level in here, and it tells you max and min. You'll want to take some of that roady water, distilled water, and just make sure that it's always in the max so the salt level stays the same, because water evaporates but salt doesn't. Now, you may be asking, well, couldn't I just use tap water and put a dechlorinator? No. The answer is, and always will be, no. At the very least, distilled water, but just go to a pet store and get roady water. You'll have much better success and happier and healthier jellyfish that way. So again, it's a very simple tank. Doesn't take a lot to it, but the jellyfish are happy. Jelly Art has created a great community on Facebook. A lot of answers in there, but they also answer over the phone. They answer over email. And I actually had the remote on me die. No questions asked. They sent me another. They are just really good people. They're happy to answer questions. They're happy to be honest with you. Even if you're looking at another product, they will tell you, hey, yeah, this will work, or no, this won't work. So I definitely recommend the company. There are other jellyfish companies out there. None of them seem to freaking answer the phone. This company does. They've made this, and I gotta be careful saying this, but they've made this so easy that if you've never kept fish before and you're willing to put the money into it, not really time, just the money, meaning to buy these, which really isn't that expensive, this is gonna be super easy. The hardest part is feeding jellyfish. Now they give you the dry food, little pellets you put in there. I'll be very honest with you, I hate dry food. It's nothing on them. I've looked at all of them. I don't like it. I want to feed jellyfish live food. And for that, you need brine shrimp. And that's the last part that comes with the kit that is so awesome. So this is very simple, and I'm going to very carefully lift it up. But what you do is you're going to fill this up with some water. Obviously, salt water, clean. I actually use just water when I do the water changes on my big tank or even the jelly tank. You put this little piece right in the center, fill it up with water up to the line, and then you put a capful or scoopful of the Artemia eggs. There's the eggs right there. Now as they hatch, they swim down underneath, they go there, and this, you can see some of the eggs got trapped in here. Not a big deal. There's one more barrier they got to swim under, and there's one more barrier in the center. Look at all these little guys right there. So why this? Well, the jellyfish can't eat those hard cases. As a matter of fact, it'll hurt the jellyfish. Now, some people buy two of them. And what they do is, while they're cleaning one, they use the other. Jelly Art says it takes about 2 or 3 days for the eggs to hatch. Maybe I'm just lucky, or maybe they offer really high quality Artemia eggs, but these guys hatch within 12 to 24 hours. So what I do is, Sunday is my water change day. So every Saturday night after I get done feeding them, I dump this out, I clean it, I let it dry completely, I fill it back up, and I put shrimp eggs in it. And then by Sunday night, they should be ready to go, if not Monday. One day of not feeding your jellyfish is not the end of the world, and in a pinch, you can use that dry food that they give you. Again, there's nothing wrong with the dry food. It is high quality dry food. I'm just not a big fan of it. I prefer always feeding live where at all possible. Eggs, live food, that sounds expensive, and it sounds like it can go pretty quickly, but it really isn't. As a matter of fact, it's the cheapest part out of the entire hobby is feeding the jellyfish. They give you a small bag. I have been emptying that out every single week since, I pretty much had it cycled, ready to go, I believe in late December, January, and it's been every single week. I still have not gone through the first bag that they have shipped out. As a matter of fact, I emptied out the bag and I put it in this little container. You can see how much there still is. So for the cheap price that the eggs are, that is a much better method. And the fact that it comes as part of the kit, heck yeah. So what modifications have I done? Because of course I have to modify something. A couple of things. One, I did put a thermometer in there. They do give you a thermometer. It's a glass one. Did not use that one. That one's actually in my sump. Instead, I have these little digital thermometers, the ones from Amazon. I'll actually do a video on these later because This particular brand is the most accurate thermometer I have used, and it is dirt cheap. So the probe is in the back, gives me a much better result. I also have the bulb that it came with. I was actually going to switch that out for one that's Google Home compatible, but I really like that particular bulb. It's super bright. Only thing I did is I got a small diffuser gel, super glued it to the bulb, and it gives me a nicer overall color wash. And then it's also attached to my Google Home, so I can say, turn off Jellyfish.
Okay, turning Jellyfish off.
And it's also an automatic timer. To sum it up, this is the best possible birthday gift ever. If you've never done aquatics before and you want to get into something and you don't want to do a bed of fish, or you're worried about the daily upkeep, this is actually a little easier in terms of the daily upkeep. Cleaning out the tank is super easy. I actually I have 2 containers, gallon jugs, and one of them's always filled with salt water. The other one's empty. I start the siphon, wait till it gets filled to the appropriate line, and then fill it right back up, obviously slowly. It's money more than anything else because you want to have the right chemicals. Jellyfish are not forgiving like fish are. If you forget something, they're going to let you know. You're going to see the bells get warped or holes in the stomach or them get smaller. You're actually going to see that mine have been kind of low to the bottom the whole time. And the reason for that is because they were not very happy with the recent move. We just moved them over here, so they stay down, but later they start moving again. But it's just the coolest gift I've ever gotten. I'm so happy about it, and it's super easy. Jelly Art makes it, Jellyfish Art is actually what they're called. Jellyfish Art. I kept saying the whole name the wrong time. Go figure. But Jellyfish Art, their customer service is great. Their product is great. They have a great warranty, and they walk you through everything. They act like you've never touched water before. And really, I couldn't ask for anything more. So definitely check it out. I really hope you guys enjoyed this review. If you liked it, please subscribe. Leave a comment down below. Have a great night, and God bless.